Just to start, we're just doing a wrist flick downwards. So bounce the ball, wrist flick downwards. I have carpet and it's kind of hard, so it's not bouncing all the way up. That's also a challenge. Maybe throw it down a little bit harder. We're just going to do about 15. Work on just the flick of the wrist. Yeah. Once you've done 15, we're going to do a full arm swing through. Same thing, but we're swinging all the way through. You still want to flick that wrist, but you're also flicking that arm. So it's this motion all the way through. And then finish that up. The next thing that we're going to do is, again, we're going to bounce the ball right here on our palm, flicking towards ourselves. So again, we're flicking towards ourselves. Oh, getting a little bit better. See how many you can get. Remember, we don't want to keep it hitting flat on our hand. We really want to curve that ball towards ourselves, not just hitting flat. Okay, so that would be a lift. We don't want to lift, we want to curve. Really get the wrist working. All right, the last one we're going to do is a little bit more complicated. Again, we're going above our head. We're flicking our wrist away from us this time. We're just hitting it off of our palm up in the air. If your ceiling's really high, go ahead and sit down and try to do it in place. Or if your ceiling's really low is what I was trying to say, but words failed me. Again, if your ceiling's low, go ahead and sit down and try to do it in place. So here's what we're going to do now. Inside, if you have a wall, we're going to start off with wall pins. So it's like a normal wall pin. You're just going to toss, step, pin. Toss, step, pin. Whoa. Okay, so again, if your ceiling's really, really, really low, you're going to kneel down and do the same thing. Okay, you're just going to toss, pin. We're working on a straight arm, strong wrist. So that's why we can do it sitting down, because we're working on that arm strength, making sure our arm is straight the whole time, and we're really getting it right in the center of our hand. We don't want it on our fingertips, because again, we don't serve with our fingertips, we serve with the palm of our hand. If you watched some of the at-home drill videos that Coach Trina released, this is something that they did. Okay, they had a wall and a piece of tape, and what you're going to do is you're going to stand about 2 inches from the wall. You're going to put your hitting arm all the way up, and wherever your fingertips touch, you're going to put a piece of tape. Okay, so there's going to be a piece of tape right where your fingertips touch. What we're going to do is we're just going to work on toss, because a lot of us toss way too far over our head. We keep it in front, behind. We want to work on that consistent toss right in front of our hitting arm. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold the ball out. There's going to be a 2-inch gap in between the ball and the wall. You're going to toss and let it drop. But your goal is to not let it pass the line that you put on the wall. Okay? So that's your goal, is to see how many you can get perfectly in the next 3 minutes. First thing we're going to do is, if you are inside, we're going to do a drill where we work with pancaking a little bit. So I know we don't work on that a lot in practice, so we're going to play around with it a little bit right now. What we are going to do, ooh, wish me luck, guys. I don't know if I can do this. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to kneel on the ground. If you're outside, I would recommend doing this as well. Find a soft spot so you don't hurt yourself. And you're going to kneel on the ground, toss the ball a little bit in front, and then you're going to slide out in a pancake and try to see if you can hit it on your hand. So again, toss, slide out, and try to hit it in a pancake. See, that one hit my arm a little bit, so we're just adjusting our body. We're going to see how many we can get in 2 minutes. Okay, so keep track. Again, you're kneeling down. You toss a little bit in front, and you try to hit it off of your hand. Next thing we're gonna do is just warming up our ball control. Sitting down for those of us inside. Outside, you're gonna do everything I say from now on standing. Unless you really wanna sit, then you can do it sitting. But it's up to you. If you're inside, I recommend sitting because the ball hits the ceiling most of the time. So yeah, let's not injure the house. So the first thing we're gonna do, oh, someone got 20, 12, and 30. That's another one we got. Good job. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna sit down. Okay, you can either have your legs spread out or sit crisscross applesauce. However you get balanced, go ahead and do it balanced. And we're just passing to ourselves. Sitting down, this is harder than standing up. So standing up, see how many you can get in a row. Okay, you wanna try to keep it controlled. You don't want a lot of movement, right? That's what we're working on sitting down is we're just tossing. We're trying to keep it in the same spot, okay? Because it's gonna start leaning in one way or another. So you wanna keep it nice and even in front. Not like I just did. All right, that's your goal. Someone got 32. 2 people got 32 also. Great job, great job. We're just passing to ourselves. And don't be afraid to catch it and restart. We're gonna go ahead and go into setting. Setting, you're just gonna do it straight up and down. Setting. Trying to get all of our fingertips touching that ball. You want a nice triangle above your head. It's all on the wrist, all on the wrist. Try to move it high, see what that's like, take it low. Kind of play around with it, see what your limits are. You could do high lows. If you want a bit of a challenge, set a high ball, immediately a low ball, high ball, low ball. All right, we're gonna go into pass set. Pass set. You wanna go consistently. Let's try pass set set. Pass set set, pass set set, pass. Just changing it up, adding a variation. I'm gonna go for control. Ooh. The first thing we're gonna do is we're going to set 3 times, bounce it off our head, and then set 3 more times. So this one's hard. I don't even know if I can do it, but again, you're setting 1, 2, 3, bounce, and then you're trying to set off of that bounce, okay? So try to keep it continuous. Our next challenge. This one's a little bit more difficult too. That's why I call it a challenge. All right, our next challenge is going to be, I don't know how to call it, so I'm just gonna say it. All right, you're going to set. You're going to touch your opposite shoulder, set, touch your other shoulder, set, use both hands to touch your nose, and then set again. I'm gonna do a little bit of a workout. We're gonna go into sit-ups. We're doing a lot of setting today because that's a really easy thing for us to do inside. But what we're gonna do is, if you saw a challenge, it was like the standing to sitting to setting to lying down. We're gonna take out the standing to sitting part and we're just gonna sit. We're gonna lie down, our knees are up, we're setting, and we do a sit-up.
Oh, come on.
We're just gonna do 15. Blockers, what we're gonna do for you is something that we've already done before. Again, you're gonna put your hands all the way up, you're going to block, you're gonna place tape at the top of those fingertips when you are blocking. You're going to place a line of tape about 4 inches below that, and your goal is to see how many you can get in between those 2 lines of tape. Setting, what we're gonna do is, if you're outside, do some of the drills that we've already done, such as 8 twos, 4-2s, those kinds of things, getting yourself moving. If you're inside, I really like this drill that I found. Basically what you're going to do is, you see I put a cross on the wall. This is called 4-corner setting. So what you're going to do is you're going to put a cross, and we're going to work on setting to different quadrants. So let's say this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you're just going to assign yourself, and you're going to say, okay, I'm going to just set in quadrant 1. Now I'm just going to do 2. Now I'm just going to do 3 and 4. Then we're going to do around the world. So you're going to go once in each quadrant. So working on placement and control. Then you're going to go horizontally on our line. Then you're going to go vertically up and down. And then you're going to go cross. You're going to do diagonals in one way, diagonals in the other way. So we're really just working around this corner, working on placement. You're standing in the same spot. You're moving your arms and your body to place it differently. Bullet, you're going to play off of it wherever it hits. Maybe hit it at a corner so it comes at you in a different angle. Okay, but that's your goal, is to get it. You can also overhand defend. That's really important for our back row to work on as well. If you are outside and do not have a wall, go ahead and do target passing. So again, you're going to set up a target. You're going to pass straight on, pass from an angle, dropping that shoulder, pass from the other angle, dropping that shoulder. And then I want you guys to work on tossing short and having to run up and play the ball up without it going past your, past your target. Okay. You can make it consistent also if you would like to do that. Give yourself more of a challenge. And then setting is okay too. Doing some overhand defense as well. If you're getting bored for the last minute, go ahead and practice dribbling. So when we're bouncing it between our arms, a lot of us keep practicing that when we're bored. I see that. So standing, you're literally just hitting it. You can do it sitting too, just working on control. That's something you can do for the next minute before we grab water. Ooh. And don't hit yourself in the head. Go ahead and find yourself a wall again. The first thing we're gonna do, you don't need the wall. We're just gonna warm up to see what this is like. We're gonna lie down on our backs and we're gonna set above our head. Just setting, trying to keep that control. If you have a partner, they can drop the ball to you and you can set it straight back up. You can drop it, they can set it straight back up, and then you guys can switch. We're just working on lying down and setting. Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna get yourself next to a wall, knees up against the wall. You're going to set to yourself, set to the wall. You're set to yourself, set to the wall. You're gonna try to keep it consistent. All right, next thing we're gonna do is just straight setting. You can toss to the wall first if you want, or set to yourself to start off, but then we're just setting against the wall. You want to get an ab work out of it? Shoulders off the ground, kind of like a crunch. You're just setting forwards. All right, next thing you're gonna do is we're gonna go sitting up against the wall first, or standing up and doing this in the air. We're gonna work on tipping. Okay, we're gonna work on tipping. Remember, when we're tipping, we're using our fingertips. Okay, that's why we're tipping. And we're just gonna push against the wall. We're just doing a one-hand wrist motion, okay? We never wanna tip down because you're gonna jam your fingers into the ball. We wanna tip up, but really quick, because then it's gonna go right over that net and it's gonna fall. You wanna keep your arm up like you're hitting. So you want it to be up against the wall. We're just doing a wrist motion, okay? And go ahead and switch to your other hand. This one's going to be harder because it's not your dominant hand unless you're ambidextrous. That thing where you can use both hands. Ambidextrous. And we're going to switch back to our original hand. We're only using those fingertips. And back to our non-dominant hand. All right, we're gonna set to ourselves. Whoa. Set to ourselves, tip to the wall. We're gonna just set and tip with our dominant hand. Ooh, and don't break stuff in your house. Now we're going to set, tip, set, other hand. So we're gonna switch off between the hands that we're tipping with. Going back and forth. Go ahead and lie back down. You're gonna put your knees up against the wall. We're gonna do setting against the wall again. This time, we're going to set to ourselves and tip at the wall. So it's a bit of a different angle. Okay, set to yourself, tip to the wall. Set to yourself, tip to the wall. Woo. All right, now we're just tipping. We're lying down, we're just tipping. Alternating hands. We're just basically batting at the ball. Oh, just tipping back and forth. All right, our next one, you can either do sitting up, lying down, or standing. I would recommend lying down to keep it consistent. But what you're gonna do is lie down with your head to the wall, and we're doing a back set of sorts. So you're gonna set to yourself, and then set to the wall, set to yourself, set to the wall. And when we're doing a back set, we wanna work on flicking our wrists backwards quickly. We wanna get that ball backwards. Not all of us have done back sets before, so we're not just moving our hands back, we're not pushing them back like that, we're actually flicking our wrists to get it to go backwards. So up, flick, 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 flick. And the last thing we're gonna do, your knees are going against the wall again. We are setting and then touching our legs. It's like we're going back to base. So this is something setters need to remember, is that we start with our hands down here anyway, and then we shoot them up, ready to go. So we're gonna simulate that. We're going to set the ball, go back to our one, okay, when our hands are at our legs, and then come back up to set that next ball. Okay, so instead of clapping, we're basically patting our lap. So we go up, whoa. Set, set, nose.
Oh,
I think I'm touching my left when I say right. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. The ball over so that it hits the wall. So you're flicking that ball from behind you. Try not to hit yourself in the head so that it hits the wall, and then you're supposed to play off of that. If that's too hard, you're just gonna bowl the ball at the wall and play off of it there. You're just gonna bowl it. Oh no. Oh, I did it twice.